No. Why would people come meeting and make noise? Huh? Such an important meeting. Can the administrators switch them off?
Okay, good evening, family. Good evening. We're starting our meeting straight away. May I appeal, please, family, may I appeal to us all. Let us make sure that our mics are muted. I beg you, let us make sure our mics are muted. Otherwise, it will delay our conversation and we'll have to stop here and there because our guest cannot be audible while we're talking. So please, friends, I think we are way ahead when it comes to using of Zoom. So please, guys, don't just log in and start talking. Make sure that your mic is off. I beg you, so that we have progress. Please, 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 let us do exactly that because otherwise we'll be going back and forth. So every time, make sure your mic is muted. Make sure that your mic is muted. These are the rules that we should no longer be talking about because we are holding our meetings at work and everywhere else through Zoom. So it's not a new thing. So I beg you, family, for us to have progress, for us to really give this opportunity to our guests to speak to us, let us make sure that we are muting our microphones. That will be very helpful. Thank you so very much. And straight away, family, I would love for us to start this evening. And ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I welcome you all in this conversation with Pastor Strike.
Pastor?
Yes,
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Can you check with the administrator if the link that you sent me is the correct link? People are saying here that it says the 17th. I'm not sure whether it's connecting. Can you confirm that so that?
Oh, no, the link is okay. The link is okay.
It's
the link
fine.
is okay. It's only that I sent it to you from somewhere else. It's okay. That we're using one link. We're not changing it.
Okay.
So we had the other meetings. So don't worry about it. Okay, yes, that is set. The link is just perfect. Thank you so very much for that. Family, like I said, thank you so very much. And we're hitting the ground running. And I'm still concerned because people are joining, but it's important that we quickly mute our gadgets or our microphones so that it's easy for us to be able to continue. And thank you for the cooperation. And Brother Desmond, our technician, if you could run around, we've got people that comes in from somewhere, and Baneshu, please. Are respecting the meeting, Yakuba. Let's respect meetings because as we do so, then we have progress. And I must be honest, we're all adults. And while we're making noise, we're annoying others. And the information that we're going to be sharing is very crucial. We don't want anybody walking out of the meeting and say these people are disorganized because we are not disorganized. So please, I beg you, let us be together and let us cooperate and let's make sure that we are muting our microphones. And with that being said, allow me to say, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I welcome you to the conversation with Pastor Strike. It was on the 16th of January this year when we're on in the heat of the second wave. Oh my God. My God. Desmond, could you please help us? Please help us. Somebody's connecting whether it's Facebook and Zoom at the very same time. That's why we have this feedback. But wait, please let us be orderly. Let us be orderly, please. Let us be orderly. Okay, says Onica, it was on the 16th of January, in the heat of the second wave, when we had our show. We hosted it on Vision FM and then on my Facebook page. And it was on effective ways of beating COVID-19 or this pandemic. And your contribution helped a great deal. Many people used that information, and many people continue to testify of how the information helped them. So it is timeless. It works throughout. And at the very same time, I receive calls. There are some of people that are positive who will come back and say, Pastor, remember when you spoke to us January, and then with Sis Onica, I use the very same tactics. And as I use them, they are working for me. And I must be honest, it is not just tactics, but they save lives. I must be honest, as Onica, these tactics, they really save lives. And we just thank God for that. Unfortunately, and I must say unfortunately, my observation, because I'm a community leader, I am among people, I am concerned about the lives of people. To me, one of the reasons I went all out is Onica and find you and host you and bring that one and make sure that I gather as much information as possible, not only medical science, because in the beginning, I felt deep inside that even our medical science, we are thumb sucking. We don't really know how to deal with this. And the advice, all things like that, we have lost people in the process. We have now made progress. Thank God, the vaccine and all that, we have made progress. But honestly, it was about what do you do? But at the very same time, because there is this thing that I feel we must be able to balance, being elite, being educated, being knowledgeable, and also appreciating African knowledge systems, so that we are able to also look at our parents, how they grew up, how they healed themselves from different types of views in their own times. But it's like, unfortunately, most of our people, we're losing them because they cannot do the simplest thing. I remember one of the family members from a particular community, which I'll not mention because it will be very, people will remember that. And we lost a lot of people, but there was a medical doctor who will tell people strictly, don't steam, you'll be dehydrated. And one of family member listened to that and called us and said, hey, Dr. Urikiskeka steamer, get dehydrated. We told her you will die, girl. Make sure that you go steaming. Because steaming, yako gym, riatsena, riachwa, aribi dehydrated. But like steaming sounds.
Is it me or I've lost mute? Is it me on my side?
Anything, Zama, for the last.
We have lost Pastor. Okay. Can people just mute themselves, honestly? Just press a mute. I think we've lost priority. All right.
Amantawe. Don't you say the Kausutu?
No,
Hey,
they are making
yo,
noise.
Jehovah.
Admini, why are you not muting people while you're waiting for Ruth? Why are you not muting people?
Good people, please mute your mics.
Okay. The best way is for admin to do it. Admin
No,
should
no.
just be on it and
Admin is
help us.
busy with it. Now
Yeah.
I can hear you. Now I can hear you. Because it's sometimes because
Yeah.
of the network, I think it sometimes cuts off.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes I cannot. But
There's
can you hear me now?
There's also a
Hear
message
me,
on
Sis
the
Onica?
chat that we need to take down your background
Sis Onica,
music.
can you hear me?
Muruti, they're also requesting
Can
that
you hear me?
take down the background music a bit lower so that
Tuesday,
Okay. How is it now?
Tuesday.
Can you hear me now?
Hello.
Can you hear me, Sis Onica?
yes, can hear you, Muruti. There are a lot of people
Can you hear me
listening.
now?
Yeah.
Okay, Sis Onica, let's hit the ground running. Let's hit the ground running. Welcome once more, and thank you for availing yourself to share your experience, to share your knowledge, to share something that you're proud of, something that you have worked on, something that you have advised many people, something that saved lives. I welcome you tonight on the conversation, and just your opening remarks before we continue.
Thank you very much, Muruti, for having me once again. And let me greet all the people who have joined, both on Zoom and on Facebook.
Sis
Just
Onica?
I must say that it's almost a year and 4 months.
Sis Onica?
Am I audible? It's almost a year and 4 months since we started advising people across the country and the continent
Sis
on
Onica?
ways that they can
Hello,
use.
Sis Onica?
I'm here, Marty. Am I audible?
Can you hear me, Sis Onica?
Yes, I can hear you, Ruth. I wonder if you can hear. I wonder if the people can hear me.
I don't know, Sis Onica. I don't know if it's your network. You're freezing.
Am I cutting?
You're freezing, sis. I don't know if it's your network. You're freezing, and your audio is not audible.
Can we have people in the chat just advising if they can hear me?
From
Sis
our
Onica,
side,
can you
we
hear
can
me?
hear her very well.
Yeah, now you're audible.
Okay. I'm stressing. I don't want to
Yeah, no,
lie.
we can hear you.
I don't want to lie. I'm very distracted by the people who are speaking. Can we try to get to mute the people? I honestly, I'm not able to speak with these noises. I'm struggling. Can we mute? I'll just wait for a second. Let them mute the people. Selma and Ntumbi. It's very, very distracting.
Guys, Earth Doom, remember? What was this Venetian Empire has to do with my watch going all weird? It's the real name of the alien race you call shock rock. The gateway you open is inside the Omnitrix.
Very, very
Well, they gotta be
disrespectful.
tiny. They try to get out, just go arms and squash.
I left Selma and some Huawei number.
The confines of your watch.
Mute them.
Use the Earth against itself. They must be poisoned or unsolid ground.
Okay, we're left with the Huawei number. If you can mute the Huawei number, we can continue. Admin, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Muruti. Let me take this opportunity to thank you for once again hosting me in your platform. And like you are correctly saying, Muruti, that it's few months now since our engagement, and we're able to can make a difference, and people come back and say, I joined your virtual class, cover to cover class with Pastor Strike, and since then I was able to disseminate the information to my family members, and we have not yet had any family member going to a hospital because they're struggling to breathe and so forth. And I think that is a very positive note from our previous recovery class. And a very important thing you are raising, Muruti, about a certain or a particular class of people, which is very much true. That we've got a particular class of people in our community, and I've seen that in the 16 months that I've been doing the work, that the people who have got medical aid, people who can afford conventional medicine, they think that the home remedies are not for them. I've been very much forward in terms of my approach to alternative medicine. And the two issues I want to raise before we get into the crux of our matters, that one is that the World Health Organization says at least 80 people of the population in Africa depend on African indigenous herbs or remedies for primary health. So it means that in Africa, when a person has a headache, because they don't have access to conventional health, because they cannot afford conventional health, so the first thing that they do is for them to go and mix some concoctions. And many of us, we grew with that particular tradition. And that is very much important. The second thing is that according to history, Africa has the oldest tradition in terms of medicine. What it means is that we have been around administering health using our own indigenous methods for the longest time. So any other culture, whether it is the Western, whether it is that they are taking from us. That is why most of the herbs in Africa have been exported in Europe, have been exported in the US for them to make their own products, and they bring them back here in Africa already ready for consumption, and we are the first ones to buy them. So we want to change the narrative, Muruts. We want to change the narrative, and we want to say, because Africa has the biggest fauna and flora in terms of the plants and the herbs, but we are the last ones to be the beneficiary of the same natural resource that we have. So that is my open remark to Muruti, to say that
It's
when
fine.
you drink or when you steam, it does not make you backward. It does not make you uneducated or illiterate. You are affirming your Africanness to say that I don't have to believe in certain people's culture before mine. And in conclusion, on my remarks, Muruti, one thing that I've learned in the literature that I'm going through, trying to unravel why, as Africans, we're very quick to stigmatize our own cultural way of doing things. I've realized that that comes from far, right? It is very much historic. That even here, during the time of apartheid, Muruti, we had laws like the Witchcraft Suppression Act of South Africa that said that anything that is traditional, all the herbs of all the methods that our Africans were administering to heal, they were, put under that particular act. It was looked as witchcraft. That is why we have got so much stigma. And the work that I've been doing in the past 16 months, I've been saying to our people, I'm educated, I'm a scholar, I'm a nutritionist, I'm a chef, but I'm calling upon our own people to go back to basics, to go to our own way of doing things, to go to our methods, our own herbs, because not only are they accessible to our people, they are also affordable, but more than anything, they are also efficient. And that is why in the past 16 months, we are proudly saying There has not been anyone who came. We gave them this methods, we gave them the concoctions, and they come back with the bad news that that person has died. So our remedies have got 100% recovery rate in the past months. So that is why I can stand on top of any mountain, the longest we have in the world, and say and bash and vow on this that I'm gonna say tonight that they work. We've got a granny who is 107 years old, who was very sick, COVID positive, from home, from Patlele. They called me, they were scared. She was very sick. And I told them that if anything, if granny is gonna pass away, it definitely will not be COVID. So we're able to can assist here with all our remedies and our techniques. Great, Coco Patlele is now up, she's now up and about, she's back to normal. And that's because of these techniques and the remedies and the methods that we're going to demonstrate today. So we don't need any science to prove us right. We've got empirical evidence to prove us right. Thank you, Murut.
Thank you so very much, Sis Onica. I really appreciate and thank you so very much for that very important opening remarks. And Sis Onica, I'm sorry that we had quite a number of glitches which are now sorted, but I trust because you were very audible on the other platform, so I could not be able to hear you, but I picked you up from the other platform. So thank you so very much, Onica. Looking at the third wave and its threat, and like I said, my concern of losing most of our people, most especially the elite. I would love maybe and Onica, is it not your family that is making noise there?
No, there are 5 people who are not muted. My family, they love what I'm doing. They support my work.
I know. I thought because this person always comes through.
They need to mute themselves, and a very long number of 1XX.
Yeah, I think Desmond dealt with it.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
Thank you so very much.
Why would people do this when we are discussing such an important life and death?
It's really disturbing. I think people must know that this is a very serious life and death situation, which we should not be playing on it. If people wants to play, they should go play somewhere, please. Says Onica, most of your introduction, I could not pick it up, but I would love for us now, like I said today, we're going to do Q&A. Reason for that, Sis Onica, is to make sure that people that are dealing with different issues and that are baffled by this pandemic and how it presents itself. Another thing, Sis Onica, maybe on the third wave is the time that it takes even to put somebody down. Can we talk a little bit about some of the symptoms that presents this third wave? Because you find that in 3 days, sometimes somebody complicates so much. Can we share a little bit on that if you have a little of insight on that?
All right. Thank you. Maybe let me also make a disclaimer that I'm not a medical doctor. So I might not be able to speak on issues of conventional science, because even our African science, it's science as well. Firstly, Marut, the new variant, the Delta variant, with the experience that I've had in the past few weeks with the clients that I was able to assist. Firstly, is that it's like in the past, we used to have kids not having issues of being infected. So now I've got a number of cases of children being infected with this new variant, which is a new thing, because in the past kids will just go to school, would not be worried much, because the previous variants that we had were not very, they were not affecting children that much. So that is the first thing that I've picked up. And the second thing, which is very scary, Marut, is the fact that and I don't know, I don't know if you have a doctor here, how do you explain this? Most people who come to me who say the person who have already died, they're saying this person went to hospital, they were very sick, and then they were fine. They were in the hospital for 4 days, 5 days, they were fine. Tomorrow, when they were supposed to go pick them up, they receive a call that the person has since died, which is very, very surprising. I don't know what is different about this variant, Murut, because
Yes.
the people, they say they give you false hope that now they are fine. And then all of a sudden you hear, they say, no, they didn't make it, which is very, very different. That I've picked up, the fact that the symptoms are more severe, right? Easy, respect the meeting. So the symptoms, like now people cases that I deal with, Muruti, is someone who is grasping for the last air. You feel like, you feel there were days when I would be so scared when I administer breathing exercises that I would feel like run to the hospital, because I felt like, what if they die while I'm still trying to help them, right? But I think God has given me the boldness, and I then appreciated this gift and the boldness to say, we're gonna stay on this call, we're gonna do the breathing, but the condition will be so severe that you feel like, if they call you after an hour, you get a call after an hour, you finish with a client, you'll think that they're going to tell you they didn't make it.
Yes.
But thank God they make it. Tomorrow they call you, they say it's better, and the saturation is above 90, the saturation is above 94, 95, which is great. So children are also affected now more than ever before. The symptoms are more severe. It's more also contagious, right? Somebody will say, I was in a restaurant, I had the mask the whole time. But I was more careful, but I got the virus. So it moves very fast, and which is something that you need to be very careful of. And so these are some of the things that I'm not sure in terms of the doctors, what are some of the characterization of the variant, but in terms of my practical experience in the past since the Delta variant, this is what I've been experiencing with most of my clients.
Very true. I think we have Dr. Mabunda with us. If Dr. Mabunda is still connected with us, Doc, would humbly ask that you give us a little bit of light when it comes to some of the prevailing symptoms or how it presents itself, because some people, it's like they are not aware that this is COVID presenting itself, or this is the virus in my body. They think it's something else until it's too late, and that is very, very concerning. And another thing that I've also seen is that exactly what you said, where you find that they say, no, come pick up the person, they are okay. And the next thing, just in one case, they even came with clothes and the person passed on. So that is one other thing that I think is very baffling. Dr. Mabunda, if you're still with us, I would appreciate your comment on this and your insight on this. Thank you, Dr. Mabunda. Thank you, Doc. You can I've seen you. You can go continue.
Maybe he was not aware that he's expected to speak.
No. I think Doc will help us. Doc, if you could unmute and then yeah, Dr. Mabunda, just unmute and then let's and thank you. Thank you, Doc.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I'm not in a good environment, Pastor. I was just coming out from the office and I'm inside the car. So the will be an echo and everything. And first, let me just thank Sis Onica for her talk.
Thanks.
And I must just say, Pastor, as Sister Onica mentioned already, Nami, I'm not a medical doctor, but I'm doing a research on vaccine and COVID itself. So what is happening with this latest variant or all the variants? It is the same thing. Is the same? Is it like, okay? Is the same virus that we had, the original one that we had, but the different format of virus, but it's still the same virus. So I don't know. It's like a BMW, but different models. Yes. So what we are being told by the medical or the clinicians about this is that the Delta one, which is the one which is causing a lot of problems currently in the whole world, its transmission, it's very high. It's very high. However, most people, they always say, the expert, they are telling us that it is not dangerous compared to the original one, but we don't think so because many people have died from the Delta.
Yes.
So you ask the question around the symptoms. The symptoms, they're still they remain the same. However, the level of the symptoms, it's very high. Maybe like as Sister Onica mentioned already, you get a hope that, okay, you see the patient today, they say, no, this patient is going to make it. But tomorrow you come, you are told, no, didn't make it. So it's all those things, the shortness of breath, the high temperatures, all those things, Pastor. So I'm not in a good space to talk more about the COVID itself because I'm just a researcher, not a lecturer. Yes, that will be my contribution.
Doc, thank you so very much. I think that also brings a lot of light, and we really appreciate, because that's what we're observing, that, it's highly contagious, and at the very same time, it puts somebody down very quick, and the symptoms you can't even tell. And that is why maybe it is it is baffling. For example, I have people in the church now who are positive. These are people that have been seriously observing protocols. We strictly do that. I advise for people to do that, but still they catch it, and that shows that it's spreading. It's rather very different. That being said, thanks very much, Doc. You have given us insight also, and would love to host you also and get to understand more especially with the research also on vaccines. But we will host you for that. And Sis Onica, we appreciate Dr. Babunda for also coming in and his contribution. Maybe it's wise for us to say to our participants on Zoom, on Facebook, please, would you please send us your questions? It might be in the very same line of symptoms, it might be whatever experience. And those that are positive, please ask your questions, because what I believe, Sis Onica, is that with the questions that comes through, then when we come with the advices and the intervention, like you said, sometimes we'll be helping somebody with breathing exercises, and you'll think, hey, will they really make it? And that is what I experienced. But the good thing is that with breathing exercises, I've seen people recover so speedily. I remember one lady, she's a nurse, because she's my church member. I told her, look, just put down your knowledge now. You're admitted. Now you listen to me. I'm administering a prescription here. Do this and do that. Just with breathing exercise. The next thing, a lot of came out. And when it came out, she said, you know what, Pastor, I can breathe, and I can breathe normally. And from that day, she recovered speedily. So I would appreciate to get questions tonight, so that we are not just presenting, but we get to know what people are struggling with and what people are facing. On Facebook, friends, if I can have your questions, thank you so very much for your comments. We really appreciate. But I'm asking for questions, please. And appreciate also the Zoom team for behaving. Guys, you have delayed us so much, but thank you so very much for behaving now, and let's continue doing so. And let me quickly look on the charts here. Thanks lots, Onica. Thank you. Can you be muted? And then, guys, please move. Okay, very, very. People were okay. All right. Here is somebody saying, I get tired after eating. She's positive. and when she eats, she gets tired. And let's mark that. Somebody else, if you could come through and tell us or ask us what you're struggling with, or something that you had family members. And I must say, Sis Onica, and to all our participants, the information that we're trying to gather here, I may not be positive today, but it will help me tomorrow. And I might help somebody who is struggling. Somebody says, I think it's Mapula Malo, is it Mapula Mulepo, saying, kindly share the breathing exercises. Okay, Sis Onica, just mark that, and then we'll get to that. And then Mr. Believe Tool is saying, is it not possible to have our indigenous remedies or herbs in our pharmacies? Okay, that's a question also. How do I exercise? Because I get tired very fast. I am also experiencing dry nose. And then this also is, yeah, I think this is Pascalis. And that says, Onica, just mark it. And let me also check on Facebook if I have, okay, Pastor Jolene is helping me. Guys on Facebook, please, if you could post your questions. You know, it's very much important for us that when Sis Onica begins to answer here, she's touching those things that are going to help us. I see, is it Maiki saying, I have been struggling with post-nasal drip for many years, which gave me a chronic cough. But since I started doing the breathing exercises, it has improved drastically. I have been following Sis Onica since day one last year, and have helped a lot of people with the breathing exercise. Thank you so very much. That comment it's really heartwarming. And then somebody here, I think is Khanya, saying, I'm on 9th day. I experience headache and tiredness. And then, or is it Toko? Yes, it's Toko Tapane. Thank you so very much. Sis Onica, just mark that, because I would love for this to inform your presentation, you know, as you answer these questions and tie it together and be able to give our audience something that is going to help. Thank you so very much, family. Facebook, guys, I need to hear from you. And then who else on the chats, please? Our friends on Zoom, on the chats, please. I want to see more, because when Sis Onica starts presenting, I would love for her to be able to have time and present, so that we are able to take something home, because she will tie it up given the questions or the comments that you are making. Thank you so very much. Let me see. Do we have anything on Facebook? All right. Okay, blessed evening. Thank you. All right. Can we maybe anything on Facebook? All right. On Facebook, we don't have any question. So, Onica, allow me to even some of it might be follow-ups even after you have presented. Did you manage to capture? Because okay, there's one on Facebook saying, okay, this one says, I don't know. Oh, okay, in fact, she's talking about hiccups. You know, she's got hiccups, though it is not time and again, but it comes once in a time. And what else?
How many times should one steam weekly?
Oh, yes, and also about steaming weekly. And I would love for you, Sis Onica, to look at something here on steaming for people that are already positive and people that are not positive. Because one other thing that I think is very much important, for most especially when people are exposed, they've gone to functions, they were in public spaces, they were maybe in a funeral, you know, things like that. But also steaming when one is already positive. I think your advices will be very, very crucial there. Sis Onica, that being said, let me see. I don't see any I don't see much on the charts, but I think that will form your presentation. Thank you so very much, and over to you, Sis Onica. You're still muted. You're still muted, Sis Onica. And then let me see. Yeah, there's one that just came through, Sis Onica. If I could take it, even if you don't mute yourself, me and you can remain live. Katekile wants to know, how will she know if she is no longer positive? Okay. How do you help people with appetite? My brother refuses to eat and has no energy. Okay. Somebody wants to know, how will I know when I'm cleared? I think that also you will advise. And then the issue of appetite, says my brother refuses to eat and he's weak. And I think, Sis Onica, let me say, the floor is yours. If you could please address us.
Thank you so much, Marutu. Once again, I love to give analogies because they really help us to understand. And one thing that I love about what God did when He created this body was the fact that He has created systems within us to make our bodies to be self-healing. When you get COVID, the reason why there's a lot of congestion is because the body is created in such a way that when there's a virus in your lungs, automatically there is an excretion of mucus to try to prevent whatever form of harm to hit your lungs. So that's why you have mucus. We have mucus lining already in our passages, esophagus, and whatever, all the pipes that we have that goes into the lungs. But we've got an excessive mucus that has been excreted by the system or by the body in a response to this virus that is now in the lungs. So that is why you have the mucus. But the body, because the body must be assisted, and that's where I want to talk about the immune system. Now you have got the excessive mucus, but because the lung, our lungs are not, created to function optimally when they are excessively covered by the mucus. The lungs will try to rid themselves from this heavy liquid that is surrounding them. That is why you have people who are coughing because the body is trying to, to balance itself. There's a word that is used, even the doctors will tell you, it's called a homeostasis. A homeostasis is a state of balance that God has created the body to be self-healing and self-balancing. So now that our lungs now are overwhelmed with this mucus that was trying to protect itself from this virus, then the body is trying now to excrete the lungs. To excrete the mucus, I beg your pardon. Now, that's why there's a continuous urge to cough, because this is what the body's, effort to try to excrete the excessive mucus so that the lungs will be able to function, in a normal way. So that is the first reason why there's excess mucus. People feel like they want to release this phlegm that they have, that is the reason. But you'd also remember, and that's something that I always talk about, that when we have war in South Africa, and I think it's very much practical now, we almost had something like that, wherein there was an attack on us as South Africans, our malls and so forth. So the president deployed the soldiers to go and protect the communities, the properties, and us against the danger that that we faced as a nation. Now, and that maybe, I don't want to speak politics, but you know that there were instances where people were feeling like they are not effective. That's why even the taxi drivers came on board, because there was almost the sense that the soldiers are not really, I remember I've got a restaurant in Durban, even after the soldiers were there, we still had the looting continue. So this is what happens in the body, right? That God created a body and put in it a system, soldiers. And these soldiers are here to fight against whatever possible danger, right? And now more than ever before, we are more exposed because we are breathing polluted air. We are eating things from the tin stuff. So we are more prone to bacteria and viruses more than any other time in the past. So this body, on a daily basis, these soldiers, it's like there is imminent war. So they're every day fighting, every day fighting all these things, these bacteria that we're confronted with. Now, if there is no effort from yourself to make sure that the soldiers are taken care of, so that's why the soldiers, if they are weak here in South Africa, even boys from somewhere in a corner, Alexander, wherever, they can come, with nyaupe. They could easily fight with the soldiers because soldiers are weak. So that is the problem. When the soldiers are weak, we are more vulnerable to danger. And there could even be a Boko Haram that can come in South Africa. We will be exposed. If there can be a coup in South Africa, we'll probably be exposed. So that is the danger of weak soldiers. That is why the issue of taking care of our health is not supposed to be an occasion. It's not supposed to be, no, I'm on a diet, muruting to amkaba, therefore I'm going to be on a lettuce. No. We are on a daily basis empowering this system, these soldiers that have a responsibility to protect us against a possible danger, those we call pathogens or bacteria or viruses. So if, for example, that is why people with comorbidities, people who've got diabetes, hypertension, cholesterol, asthmas, they succumb more than a person who is having a clean bill of health. It's because by the time COVID arrives, already these soldiers are inundated with work because they are every day trying to keep you alive. Now, so when COVID comes, it is just one knock and then you're gone. That is why I call upon South Africans to say, let us not make healthy living an occasion. Let us normalize it. Let us internalize it. Let's live healthier lives because now everybody all of a sudden wants a ginger. Imagine if when there is a coup, the Minister of Defense calls and say, no. Now we want the soldiers. Give the soldiers, immune boosters. Give them energy drinks. They must go to war. We will not win the war because the soldiers were trained late. The soldiers were given proper nutrition late, therefore they were not equipped. So sometimes it's so little, so late. That is why most of the people who comes and say, I am fatigued, it's that thing. Your soldiers, again now COVID was there in your system. So the soldiers were fighting, they were in a war, trying to rid your body from this deadly virus. Now, these soldiers, after you are cleared of COVID, they are tired, they're exhausted, hence the fatigue. Now I'm dealing with cases of post-COVID syndrome because after people were cleared after 14 days, they went back to their normal lives. They never took their soldiers to a recuperation program to say, my immune system, I was in a serious fight trying to save my life. Then let me put it on some recuperation program so that I can strengthen it back to life. What do we do? We go back to our life. So that is why it's very much important for people to understand that once you are cleared, don't go back to your old ways. Continue to live healthier because these soldiers, they were in a war trying to save you. This immune system was in a war trying to save you. So it is weak. So once it is weak, and then after 14 days, you do nothing about it. That is why most people who are COVID positive, they are more susceptible, Muruti, to diabetes and all these lifestyle diseases because there is no longer the system in the body that will try to fight against whatever possible disease that can try to enter the system. So that is why it's very much important to say, to answer the question of I'm 9 days, I'm fatigued, I'm all that. It's because this body, these soldiers, they're tired. What are you doing on a daily basis to boost them, to help fight this war of COVID.
Mm.
This brings me to the other point that the headaches, the dizziness. Remember, the body is the word is escaping me. Is grappling for the oxygen. Remember, that is why the oxygen levels will be lower, and then that's why people must be put on a ventilator route. So once certain parts of the body is not able to get the oxygen, definitely you are bound to be weak because your body needs oxygen for you to survive. So if your body, the saturation level is low, or you don't, that is why I fight with government, Dr. Mawunda. Why people who are in hospital, they die. And that is not a secret. It's because the isolation of hospital, because of how our hospitals are structured. You can't wake up Onica with a mask in the hospital and say, I need to do the work. I don't know if they do it now, but they were not doing it because of you are a risk, remember, to other patients in a hospital. So therefore, people are just lying there on a bed. They don't even show them the proper position to sleep. And then there's no circulation. And your body needs circulation for the oxygen to go to other parts of the body, especially now that you are gasping for the last oxygen. So it's very much important for people who are, they say they are dizzy, they say they're fatigued. I say force yourself, go outside in the morning, get the vitamin D, which is very great for your immune system. But most importantly, get your body on a circulation so that you can get every ounce of the remaining oxygen to go to the rest of the body. And that is where I'm going to come to the breathing exercise, which is very much important, Morut, because I've seen this do miracles. And one thing that I didn't know, every day I learn something different. Somebody was talking about the post nasal drip, Morut, that they do the breathing exercises and they are completely out of that state. I've heard people saying, I had a child who had asthma because it's a respiratory problem. They're doing their breathing exercise, your breathing exercises, they're out of the pump. I even had people who had hypertension, Muruti. Because remember, this hypertension is when the body is trying to force the blood through and it causes inflammation. Now, when you do the breathing exercises, there's a particular, a release of the tension of the muscles and the veins. There's a particular calmness that comes that will make sure that your body is relaxing. And once your body is relaxing, then you go back to that state of hemostasis. And once you go back to that state of hemostasis, everything in the body functions properly. So that is why the breathing exercises that I'm going to demonstrate now, Muruti, they are not just about people who are COVID positive, I'm struggling to breathe. Let's normalize them. Every day before you sleep, it also helps you to fall asleep quicker, by the way. So you just, do 5 strokes. Then by the time you are gone, right? So, like I said, your body, your lungs will have this mucus that the body produced to try to protect the lungs against the virus. Now, because they are in excess and they are not to be able to breathe because now the airways are tampered with. It's very much important for people to excrete the mucus. And that is where the breathing exercise will come. Now, anybody who would just go to my Facebook page, click the link. I'll post the link to the Telegram, all the techniques. So these are your lungs. So when you do the breathing exercises, I call them the 4-7-8, right? So you breathe in 4 times, you hold it with your core, with your stomach 7 times. I did say by mistake in one of the videos, I said 7 minutes by mistake. Like, I'm not able to hold it.
Yes.
That's a mistake. You hold it 7 times with your stomach very hard, and you breathe out, relax 8 times until you feel like there's no longer air left to breathe out. And I know people who are, in that dire state, once they do, they can't even finish one stroke. They are coughing so hard.
Yes.
That's what you want. Remember, we're trying to release all this.
Yes.
So you take a break and then you continue. And let me tell you how you go to assess the state of your lungs, whether COVID has, how it has really, affected your lungs. There's a certain study that I read. I don't know whether Dr. Mahmoud might have it, that they said that people who are struggling from post-COVID-19 syndrome, most of them, when they go to X-ray, they realize that their lungs are more affected than the people who are smoking. So I've seen one of the videos from Dr. Tabani, who was showing one of the therapy that he wanted to just government, and it was declined, wherein they want to put a pipe in the lungs to try to suck the mucus out of the lungs. So that is because now the mucus, the more they stay in the lungs, the more they clot.
Oh, yes.
That is why the issue of steaming will come. I'll explain about the steaming, because it thins the mucus and it needs to be excreted quicker from out of your system. So the breathing exercises, Muruti, you breathe in, and as you breathe in, this is what's happening in your lungs, right? It's like wamula tiko, right? So you are squeezing the mucus of your lungs. That is the 7 times you hold. Slowly in a controlled motion. Push. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out with the mouth. You don't say, so I'm trying to show people a demonstration. When you do quicker, it's you have to do a very controlled motion. Breathe in. And out. 8 times, right? So you breathe in with the nose, you hold with your core, you breathe out with your mouth. When you struggle, wait, push. The more you're able to do it more, it's going to tell you now that you are getting healed. And I always do this, make this example. That is why most of the people who, and I've even had the same Dr. Tabani who said, the reason why ventilators are not that effective in fighting actually not in fighting, they are not dealing with the problem in the lungs. And I always say to people, that's why you don't do breathing exercises after 3 days, you think you are better, you leave it. I always give example that when you have a knee injury, right? When you go to a physio, even if your physio took you out of, the crutches, they take you out of the oxygen, you don't stop going to the physio, right?
Yes.
You continue going to the physio. Because the knee must be stronger, the muscle must be stronger. So even the muscles, they need to be stronger here in the lungs. So it's very much important that even when you feel better after 10 days, like I said, let the breathing exercises be our daily routine. So don't leave and say, no, I feel better now and stop it. Just do normalize every night 5 times. Certain psychologists call it the detoxing of the mind, right? So you're trying to also bring that particular homeostasis in your mind, balancing whatever the noises during the day, the stresses. So you're trying to detox your mind. And that is the breathing exercises, Morut. The second thing that somebody has asked, I think I've responded to the issue of the exercise. They say they get weak, and I explain where people get weak, right? The inadequate oxygen, which is something that you check if you got the oximeter. Just check, if your oxygen saturation is proper. But you need to force to be in the sun, right? Very much important. Make sure that you are 6 o'clock before the air is polluted. Go outside between 6 and 8. Just make sure that you and then just try. Don't just sit down. I was saying to one of my clients today who was really struggling. I said to them, get even if you have to walk with a stick, but make sure that there's circulation in your body. Very much important.
Mm.
And then the issue of steaming, how many times? When you are not COVID positive,
Mm.
we get exposed. When you feel like you were exposed,
Mm.
maybe Muruti, you went to church or you went to a funeral, just steam when you come back.
Mm.
And there's an argument that we can raise with doctor and the medical scientists. They say the steaming does not kill a virus, right? We can talk about that. But the reason why people have fever, Murut, is because, like I said, God has created the body to be self-balancing. Once the body picks up that there's a virus in the system, it increases the temperature of the body because a bacteria is not comfortable in your in the hot body, right? So that's why people have fever. So most people who are COVID positive, they've got fever because the body is automatically increasing the temperature to say, hey guys, there's a virus. We must burn this virus. How the body was created. So whether the steaming kills the virus or not, I told them, why don't the medical scientists take these methods to their own laboratory? Because, like I said in the beginning, Muruti, 80% of the population in Africa are dependent on traditional way of healing. So if we are serious about life and protecting life, we should be saying, now that we know everybody's steaming, why don't we take this steaming therapy in the laboratories as medical scientists and go check firstly the efficacy, which we don't doubt that is effective. Second, the safety, to say how long can we steam, because what I'm telling people has not been proven. It's what my grandmother has taught me, right? To say, how do I steam and what do I steam with? Don't steam every day, even if you are you don't steam twice a day when you are COVID positive. Steam in the evening. It's better when you steam in the evening. And I'll quickly, as I'm going to round up, do a typical recovery routine, which I think is going to be very much important. And you steam with what? I normally say, get the stones. These are the stones. I get them from garden. We buy them from the Nazarene routine. So that's stones that you burn on the stove for about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on what you're using. And then you have a bowl, a bucket, whatever that you can use, and you have to take off your clothes, of course. And then whatever that you're going to infuse, very much important. Because we've got the scarcity of eucalyptus oil. Eucalyptus, that is why I get so mad, Murut, because when you can say to people, go and pick up a bilcom, they will say, no, right? But when it is in the bottle, there's no
acceptable. It's
holy. We need to wake up. We can't have that, right? So bilcom or a eucalyptus plant is there. There is mushungwane as well, Lapia javanica. It's very great for steaming. And then I also love the leaves of the lemon tree, right? And then I take the mint leaves, very great as well. The mintish help in terms of and then I also use very important. I take the outside of the lemon, the grinds, I grate them together with the ginger and the garlic. I mix them. I make an infusion of all this. I mix them. And then sometimes what I even do for it to be effective.
For each and everybody.
Victoria, you are making noise.
Desmond, if you could capture that and quickly sort it. Victoria, please.
So normally what I do, I normally say, put all this in a plastic with the back of a spoon, just pound them a bit. Just pound them a bit. You are releasing the flavors and the medicinal properties in those herbs. Then from there, boiled water, there's the herbs, infusion of herbs and oils, or whether you put the Vicks and then some stones. It will go like you are covered. And as you are covered, you are breathing in. Remember, we are also thinning that thick mucus so that it can be extracted.
Yes.
So you are breathing. We are using both the pipes that are going down, right? So that is very much important. That's how we steam. When you are not COVID positive, steam when you are exposed or steam once a week. When you're COVID positive, steam in the evening, and make sure that before you sleep, you drink umklonyana. You take a teaspoon if it is dry. If it is until you just take a handful, you boil it. I boil it with some ginger and some lemon and some garlic just to get the vitamins and the zinc that we need for immune system. Then I just boil actually a 2-liter mruti. I put it in the fridge, and every time I need to drink it, I just warm it with the pot. Don't boil it, and then just drink half a cup. Remember, I always say mklonyana is an antibiotic that does not have side effects.
Oh, yes.
That is the great thing about our indigenous herbs, that they are healing and healing completely. But people should not overdose. I spoke to a physician, and I agreed with the physician that pregnant people, just for safety, Murut, right? Pregnant people should not drink mklonyana, just to be safe, right? And then people who are diabetic, they drink 2 tablespoons. Children, my grandson is 3 years, so twice a week, when I see, they go to crash and then they come back with some. So I just do 1 spoon of warm mklonyana. Yeah. So and because that question will always come, can this person drink mklonyana? Can that person drink mklonyana? And that is literally what we do, Murut. I don't know whether I've responded to why are our indigenous medicine not in the pharmacies. My whole thesis, my master's thesis, Muruti, it's on this subject. Maybe when I'm done with my master's, I'll come and present what are my findings. But for now, I think we are captured.
Yeah, we're captured.
Yesterday, I was reading a document about how Europe has industrialized our traditional herbs. And I realized that only in Limpopo, we are the biggest supplier of moringa, baobab, marula. What else? I think there are about 5. Okay, alu, forex, 5 main, and they have been exported in Europe for them to do medicine. And by the way, Murut, China, they're very fast. That is why their death rate, mortality rate is very low in COVID, even if they are the what do you call, where COVID was what is
First
the word?
discovered.
First discovered. Thanks, Murut. China has 2 traditional medicine hospitals. 2. Because this thing of saying World Health Organization is wrong. The World Health Organization has put in place a policy that says countries or member states are welcome to research, to develop their own traditional way of healing, as long as they will be done within a particular framework. That is why Minister Musibudi Manyena in 2004 put together what you call an indigenous knowledge system policy here in South Africa. And the indigenous knowledge system policy was saying we need to take our own herbs, our own methods, this thing of steaming and all these methods of Africans. Let us package them, let us promote them, and let us embrace them as our own. But we don't want, and China ran with that, and that is why they come and they take all our plants here in Africa, and they develop them in their country.
That's very painful. That's very painful. And the price that we pay, unfortunately, is losing lives.
Yeah.
That is why, I must be honest. Number one, you must tell us earlier when you have symptoms. I tell them, look, the flu that we're dealing with now, COVID. Some people are still trying to justify, no, it's this and this. Look, it's easy to be infected. And if you quickly accept, or you know what, COVID, then you quickly start using. In fact, you should be doing it even before you contract the virus. Like you say, if you think you are exposed, if you have flu, but in Karibatu, they are working hard to want to prove that, no, it's not COVID. And the no, it's not COVID. But what does it help us? Because, we should be concerned about saving lives, and which I think it's very, very crucial and very critical. And like I said, I appreciate the medical science, and we believe in it. But at the very same time, I hate the fact that we disdain or we look down upon that which brought us up. You know, I remember my mother was not a traditional healer. She was just my mother, but she got knowledge from her parents. Some roots of this particular tree, and or the bark of this particular tree, and I'll come back with it, and she'll boil it and make soft porridge for my little ones. You know, and we lived. Here we are today. But unfortunately, more especially, maybe another thing that it's very much important, says Onica, that you must put a disclaimer on is also that you are a born-again child of God. Because people, when we talk of all these herbs and the like, people quickly shift it, you know, and say, no, I think also we have to decolonize our minds, even when it comes to our religious understanding. You understand? Because the Bible is the one that shows us, you know, the leaves and all these herbs. They are for the healing of the nations. But unfortunately, we like put it aside. Somebody asks here on Facebook, says that when she takes lemon and ginger, she's got a heartburn, and what advice can you give her so that she's able to take these things? And another thing, while on that, says Onica, it's like you said, these herbs, these leaves and all these things, they've got medicinal properties that are proven to work. I'm saying, you making your claims, I'm making my claims, and my claims are everybody that turned positive and they let us know by God's grace, they recovered when we advised them what to do. And we have not lost one in the church because of giving them this information. And I'm saying to all our participants, I think, my brother or my sister, better. That is why maybe we should start a crusade, says Onica. Let us go on. I love some of the comments here because you know, says Onica on to and it's only that Brother Desmond, you must help me with our comments or our chat section where somebody spoke of a 93 old lady somewhere there. Let me just quickly go to those comments and see if I can be able to. Okay, and then Pastor Jolene wants to give me a question.
Can I take him even if I'm not or have COVID, then how often?
Okay, that is another one, says Onica. Or can I take Mhlonyan even if I'm not COVID positive, and how long do I take it? How many times do I take it? So you will attend to that. And then I think it's Mama Mulifepulani. She says, most survivors of COVID-19 who were admitted in ICU usually suffer long COVID-19 symptoms, which are very traumatic and painful, especially because they just come unexpectedly. What would you advise them to do? Because they end up going back to the doctors when it is not necessary to do so. Painful and leave you leave them in some instances. Okay, I may not understand that last portion, but I think the first portion is clear enough for you to understand, says Onica. Let me check some things, some comments here. Really sad hearing about these indigenous plants. Really very sad what we okay, and then let's see. Very good work. Thank you. Do you kneel down? Okay, somebody says, do you kneel down or sit up while doing breathing exercises? I think that is also important. If we use traditional methods, must we still vaccinate? That is another one. And then, okay, how do you help someone with diarrhea due to COVID? And this, I think, are after effects. Okay.
While still on lemons, is there an alternative item to take to avoid ulcer cramps.
Okay, is there an alternative instead of lemons to maybe an alternative uh, to taking lemons, more especially when one is having ulcers and the like? So Onica, I hope that makes some little bit of assignment for you to to quickly touch it here and there. Some of it you've already touched it because when you're addressing, but you can just hoy one there and there so that our participants can be satisfied. I've seen that we've gone beyond our time. We'll close exactly 9 o'clock because our starting was disturbed here and there. Okay, there's another one. Let's hear what as a survivor, must I put 2 masks or buy the 951 used in hospitals?
The other one here. Is it normal to have heart palpitations?
Yeah, is it normal?
Pain in the heart? Immediately, do you recommend for that?
Is it normal to have heart palpitations or pains after recovery? And what do you recommend for that? Sis Onica, if you could help us, my dear sister.
Ruth, the issue of diarrhea, I've had a lot of my patients who were struggling with diarrhea, and then I've picked up. Remember that once there is there's a virus, the body tried to go to concentrate. It's like, as I've given an example, if there could be what we had last in the country, it was in Gauteng, it was in Durban. So the soldiers were deployed, right? And we could manage. So if while the soldiers were still in Gauteng and in Durban, and then there was another breakout, the riot starts in Nelspruit, and then in Seshego, Polokwane, and then in Mafikeng. So it means that there will be the energies and the resources of defense will be depleted. So what happens when your body is struggling multiple conditions, that when the immune system is there trying to focus on this virus, that is why some people will even experience constipation. So other systems of the body will go on some form of a slowdown of some sort, right? Because the body now, it has this particular thing that is very, very urgent. So all the of the body are targeted towards helping you to fight the virus. So sometimes it could be that, sometimes it could be anxiety, Ruth, by the way, right? Sometimes anxiety. People, when they're anxious, they can do all sorts of things. They can diarrhea. Some women can even go to period at the same time. So some people, when they hear that somebody that they with has tested positive, automatically they think they're COVID positive themselves. They start to. There are lots of reasons why people can have diarrhea. But what I'm going to suggest is that, and it also goes to somebody who says, the brother doesn't eat. Make soups, right? Soups and juices. I also got my own business, Green Bar. You can order from us, because people must eat, right? For you to have the energy, because the body needs the energy to fight the virus. You need to eat. So if you can do food in the form of a liquid, just so that if you say you've got, remember when you had diarrhea, our grandmothers used to make us to drink the sugar and salt, which because they knew that you've lost. I don't know where they got this, Murut. So much, they know that your body has lost the electrolytes, so they're trying to replace them. So when you lose, you have diarrhea, make sure that you eat a lot of greens. Very much important. Your kale, your spinach, your broccoli, very, very much important. And make them in the form of a smoothie or a soup so that they can easy. You don't have to listen to yourself. Just and by the way, the people who are talking about the ulcers will also help. I mean, the greenery, the greens will also help you to rebuild the lining of the stomach, because the ulcer is formed because of the lining of the stomach that has been eroded. So once something that is, it's like when you've got a cut and you can squeeze something of something acidic, you feel the pain, right? You feel the pain. So once you've got the ulcers, the lining of your stomach has been eroded because of spices, because of alcohol and smoking. So once something that is acidic will touch it, then you feel the pain. So the green will also help to restore the lining of the stomach. And somebody who talks about the heartburn, just try to mix a spoon of bicarbonate of soda with a glass of water and drink it. It will neutralize the acids. But if you can, detox, because that is the level of toxicity in the system. So we need to normalize to detox. Our grandmother did not get it right, Murut. I don't agree with how they used to paint us, Murut. That's not the healthy way. That's where I don't agree with our grandmother. It's not very healthy. Yes, we kneel down. There's a position and elevate. Murut, I don't know in Tonga what is it? The breathing exercises. Can I not talk under the discussion of the vaccine, Murut?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. For my own protection.
Yes. No, you're freezing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, did I ask all the questions?
Yeah, I think you covered, but there's that one for palpitations. But I think it's all in exactly what you have said.
Breathe. You know, when you're about to enter a meeting, when you feel stressed about something, when you are angry at your husband, before you say something, just do the breathing exercise. Just pause and breathe. You'll tell me. You'll realize that you probably it has saved you the weight that you would have done more damage.
Unleashed.
Yeah, just breathe. Just say okay. Isn't that what they do when you are they'll say breathe.
Yes. True.
You'll see there'll be some sanity. That's some
Yeah. And then now Sis Onica,
demonstration, Muruti, which is the biggest symptom. People who are struggling with the sense of taste and smell.
Taste and smell. Thank you so very much.
Yeah. All right.
And you know, my wife says it works. She has been administering it to her patients.
Mamruti, me and you, Pastor, we are doctors now. You can't argue with us.
Yeah. Well,
even the conventional doctors, those who work for 7 years, they don't know this technique. They can't restore people's sense of taste and smell. So we are the real Makoya. And let me tell you, nobody showed me this. Right? I just had these ideas and tried them on few people. They worked.
And
they worked. God gives me ideas. God gives me. They just don't drop in my mind like it's an idea. And let me tell you, Muri, one thing this is so godly, that this thing that I'm going to show you, I did not read about it. I read it 6 months later somewhere in a health literature.
Yes.
But it was just an idea because I knew that castor oil, it helps inflammation.
Oh, yes.
Because mainly when you've got an issue with the sense of smell and sense of taste, and I always have this, they say both the sensories, they are connected to the same receptor in the brain.
Yes.
Maybe I must Google a picture. So that is why most of the people, when they lose a sense of taste, that is why sometimes when you go like there is some connection with the senses.
Yes.
So very important is that some people, because of lack of zinc in their system, because remember zinc, that is why the doctors or at the chemist, they give you zinc Murut because zinc is needed. So once you get your COVID positive, your body will say, we want zinc. Go and look for wherever zinc is stored in the body. So the body go and look for whatever. That's how intelligent our bodies are made by God. So then if you do not have enough zinc in your system, you'll have a deficiency of zinc. Now that is cause your your disappearing in the sense of taste and smell. And
yes.
it is a result of course the inflammation and the congestion. So I came up with this technique and it has been working. The first one is that you need to take the earbuds and you need to take the castor oil. And is this burning ceramic? It's there at this camp. They must pay me. I've been marketing them. I'm told the first week I showed people this, they were stocked out.
They
So
must pay.
yeah, they need to pay us Murut. No, the church, we want money there. So this is the oil. I've also read that thyme is very great in decongestion. So this is where I got the idea of the thyme. So I've got the eucalyptus oil there in my eucalyptus oil there in my ceramic. Then I've got my thyme. And you don't have to do these things when you're covered. You know, these things are very nice. When you're taking a bath, just concoction of oils, muruti, lavenders, then you prevention is better than cure.
Yeah, I see it here at home. Hey, my wife should be doing it even when she's showering, you know.
Yes.
And it will be smelling nice, you know.
For letting me, Pastor. Yo, thank you so much. So this is your castor oil. Great anti-inflammatory properties. Then from there, Muruti, that is that oil that has the thyme inside. Immediately after you have your then you're going to you can even feel that your brain is relaxing.
Yes.
Your nerves are relaxing, but then dealing with that congestion. It's still congestion that is making you not able to smell, right? And this is the first thing that you need to do. The second thing is to gargle with last warm water, some bicarbonate. You know, bicarbonate is clear. You need to have it in the house. I remember I spoke about bicarbonate with the heartburn root.
Yes.
So the bicarbonate and then the sea salt. I love that cost one that my grandmother buys go Indian Center, right? Because we are here, Makwani Muruti, I use Himalaya or sea salt, right? So you gargle in your mouth. It also helps just to increase the viral load in your mouth. And even if you have not lost your sense of smell and taste, do this. You know, it's important. Remember, there are a lot of things that will make us have bacteria in our mouth. So twice a week, 3 times a week after you brush your teeth, gargle with salt, bicarbonate. Because most of the bacteria, they get firstly into your tongue, they stick there and then they go down. So you need to keep them before they can go down into our stomachs and cause us problems. The last two is to take this plant, very important. My daughter said she has some red pink eyes now. I'm going to take this and apply in her eyes. It's going to help her to clear. It's very great, Muruti. And if you've got a seashore or a pimple or there's a cut or there's a bend, aloe is very great. So for today, we're going to take the gel of the aloe, just to drink as well. Normally what I do, I take this gel and then I grab it, because at home, these are the ones for here in Makwan. At home, you'll find that one with the big leaf, right?
Yes.
Then you just grab that gel. You just put it in a container, put it in the fridge, Muruti. And once a week, I normally just blend it so that it can be, nice.
Yes.
So once a week, I just teaspoon warm water and I drink. Very, very great antibacterial plant here. So for this one that I'm showing you for the tongue, you add the gel, some cinnamon. I don't have honey here on the table. I don't know why. Some cinnamon, some aloe, and some bit of lemon. You squeeze them together And then from there, they're going to make a paste.
Oh,
and
yes.
then going to scrub.
Mm.
This is going to help to reignite the taste buds.
The taste.
Yes. And then the last thing, Muruti, which is something that we all need to be doing, is just to chew the fresh mint.
Oh, yes.
Once in a while, grow these herbs, grow the fresh mint, grow the thyme, grow the alu, you know, just fresh mint. After you that is why most of the toothpaste are made of fresh mint, right?
Yes, yes.
Just take the fresh one, just chew it. It's very great for oral health because, like I said, most of the bacteria who get them from our mouth. Right? Again, we are always talking muruti. So things that they get in the mouth, they are trapped. So it's very important that when you brush your teeth in the evening, you don't have to be struggling to say you need a Listerine. The best Listerine, fresh mint, and gargle with warm water with salt. And then the last thing, Muruti, those who are struggling to sleep, this is the lavender. So you just roll this lavender to release. By the way, people will want it in here, right? Written lavender. That is when you
they will want
Onica is showing you this one. You think she's backward. She does not know the things. So this is how. So when you do your breathing exercises, when you sleep, you just took your bath and then you are relaxed with the herbs and all that. So you just, my hands now, I could just literally fall asleep. Breathing exercises. 3 times I'm gone, Ruth. So
you will go just like that.
Because this release, what you call this, the melatonin is the sleeping hormone. Releases it, yeah. So that's it, Muruti.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Sis Onica, every time I host you, I cannot stop appreciating the knowledge and practical things that you share with us, something that is so tangible, something that works. And I trust that our participants, they had a great time. I just want to take some comments from some of the chats, most especially because with the chats, we may not be able to retrieve them, but on the Facebook page, good enough is that we'll be able to retrieve the comments. Here, Mr. Tepo Mabunda says, thanks for the insight, Ms. Moloi. Misinformation is broader classification of false and inaccurate claims shared largely unwittingly and without the intention to deceive. This information is specific subset of misinformation created with deliberate intention to deceive. Both have caused significant and real harm throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. That's very true. And then another comment, I appreciate the effort you make to equip us with the important information, especially the measurements of our herbs and breathing exercises. And that is it Chue Matsopa? Thank you. And then Mr. Mabunda coming back and say, we should also warn our people to be careful about the two I have mentioned above. Very true. And then Mainam Kabel is saying, thankful for a very important lecture. Hey, the breathing exercise, it's a take home. Very true. Please share the ingredients again to smell and taste. You'll get it on Facebook, friends. I must release my guest. You can just go back to the page, on Facebook, you'll be able to get it again. KG also saying 4 to 7, 8 breathing technique helped me with anxiety problems. Oh, thank you. I could not drive at a speed of more than 60 kilometers per hour. Now, even driving has improved. Thanks lots, Sis Onica. Thanks lots, Team Moruti and Sis Onica. Thank you so very much, family. Allow me, in Xitsonga, we say, eating too much does not mean you will conquer hunger. You'll be hungry again the next day. So, but I just want to take this time and I appreciate you, all our participants on Zoom and all our participants on Facebook and all our friends, even on Bold Moves Radio and those on Bold Moves Radio YouTube. Thank you so very much. I I've tongue-lashed some of us, more especially when we started. Family, I must just say, when we join Zoom meetings, it's very advisable to quickly look at our mic and mute it. I know some is not intentional, but let it be at the back of your mind that I'm entering into a Zoom meeting. As much as I'm able to mute my picture, let me mute my audio so that I'm not disturbing, because the beginning had some interruptions which really delayed us, but also we had some glitches because this side we were told that we might lose electricity, or we might have a cutoff of electricity, and we started changing things, and that also affected our Wi-Fi. But I must say, there's a lot to take home. And I must say, family, it is very much important that the knowledge that you have received, which we can really revisit again on our Facebook, even on our YouTube, it's very much important. It saves lives. I must be honest. I sit here and say, says Onica's techniques, says Onica's advices are working and they save lives. And I would love to say, as a pastor, to my fellow pastors, says Onica, we've lost a lot of pastors. And it's too much. We've lost a lot of professionals. It is my appeal that please, good people, this thing, please let us not fall for that, more especially release Kolong Batwamudim. How do we not dive deep into our African knowledge systems, into what our parents used to grow us, to help us grow and to help us overcome. I beg you, share with your loved ones, share with somebody closer to you. It will save their lives. Says Onica, I boldly tell people that if you listen to me, if you do what I'm telling you, you are going to live. I tell them straight, boldly, you are going to live. But if you don't do it, unfortunately, I don't have any guarantee for you. One of my daughters who's positive just called a few days ago. She's here, and no offense. And she said, no, they say my oxygen level, I checked, my oxygen level is low. Now I'm going to the hospital. I said, what? What are you going to do? What do you feel? Because the truth is that we don't hate hospitals, but the truth is that when you go to the hospital, you are locked. And sometimes even a phone is taken from you. You are locked away from everybody. And now it hits you upstairs. You have anxiety, you've got all these problems. You need support, you need advices. And this, my daughter, the other day, because and then how will I do that when you are in a hospital? I cannot do that. So you cut out from all the support. Yes, there is a time where we can say, please go to the hospital. But I must be honest, Onica, with the breathing exercises, I've seen people recover just like that. Because if this thing cannot choke you, if this thing cannot drown you, then you will leave. But because, like you said, the soldiers have been running around doing damage control and things like that. Yes, you'll have after effects. And some people, Onica, they'll say, no, everything has got side effects. What about? Look, let me have side effects while I'm alive than have one effect that I'm dead, finished. So it's one thing that we should be thinking, and we should be saying, look, it's important for us to save lives, and let us therefore share with other people. Let us therefore help others. And limo kerekeng batho ba Modimo, Bibele a re kwešiša gabotse batho ba Modimo, re hwa, as the Bible says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And this is very, very sensitive. And let us say, let's encourage bazalwane a rapeleng, rena re a rapela every day 5 to 6 mara re fetša on rapela re a stima batho, re a ja dilo tše batho ba Modimo, and then Modimo a re thusa. So please, let's do exactly that. Says Onica, I would love to take this time and say once again, my dear sister, thank you so very much. But it is important for you, before you leave, to tell us where to get you, because at the very same time, while you are helping on this platform, we don't pay you. You just come and share information with people. But there are some people that must pay for you to help them so that you are able to live. It's important for us to feed you. It's important for us to appreciate what you are doing. And that is very much important. I know you're very generous with information, and which is very, very much important. But there are those people that you admit also, and they must pay and get helped. I think it's very, very much important. And I would love to say, Please let people know where to get you, how to get you, so that you are able to help some and so that you are able to save lives. I have seen it work. I've seen it work. I've seen it work. You know, I spoke to my sister who is she's a doctor, she's a nurse, she's a doctor, she did a PhD, and then we had a death in the family. And I said to her, Ceci, this and this and this and this and this. I explained everything, what you have trained me and taught me. She said, but where did you get all this knowledge? I said, what do you mean? She said, Pella, Pella, you know, it makes sense. Now it's about the chakanch. So I want to say, my dear sister, thank you so very much. Let us know where to get you and where to connect with you as you give us your closing remarks. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. One of the difficult questions that I'm always seated with is someone who says, my mom or my family member is sick, and should I take them to the hospital or not? I'm not able to advise somebody who asked me that question. I can't say don't take somebody to a hospital. The other big difficult question, a guy was very, very stressed yesterday, called me and said, my wife is COVID positive, she's in a hospital. I'm trying to arrange for a discharge so that you can admit her. Because I admit virtually, by the way, so that you can admit her. So can when I arrive, because the doctors asked me, do you have a plan? So when I arrive at the hospital, I give the doctor a phone and I tell them that when you are my doctor, and tell them what you're going to be doing. I'm like, no, I can't do that. I can't say, arrange for discharge of your wife. How much people have confidence in the work that you are doing.
Yes.
Yeah. Not by might, not by power, Muruti, it is by the Spirit.
Amen.
You find me on Facebook, Onica Mokhobedi Moloi, and on Instagram is Onica TP1 meaning the pure one. So Onica
the pure one.
Yeah, that's what I'm called. That's why they call me TP1 Murut. So it's Onica, O-N-I with a double C-A on Instagram. On Twitter, I'm Onica TP1 as well. And we've got a link. It has now going to 5,000 people, I think, on Telegram. I will post it today. So just go on Facebook today and go be on that link, because all the remedies, including, those that are not necessarily for COVID, are there. Post all the advice, and you can also contact me using the Telegram number if there's a thing that you want, a health tip that you need. And that's it. And I say to our people, let's go back to basics. Let's eat healthy. Let's exercise. Let's drink water. Let's eat whole food like we used to. Let's leave processed food. They are expensive for nothing, right? And let's just make sure that we take care of our health, because prevention is better than cure. Don't wait until it's too late, because people that we are burying today are people who are obese, people who are diabetic, people who have got respiratory or cardiovascular problems. So don't fall into that category. If you are already in that category, come to me and let me show you how we can fight it.
Thank you very much. Pastor Jolene wants to say bye-bye to you.
My co-pastor, my co-doctor rather.
Yes. Hi, Sis Onica.
Hello, Ruth.
Thank you so much. We are so empowered, and I wish our people can take this session so serious, so that we share even to our families, to our friends and our colleagues, because once you are empowered, it's not just for you only, but for the nation. And we want to say thank you so much for your availability. And we believe the information that was shared tonight will go a long way in saving our people. May God continue to bless you. We love you so much, and we continue to pray for you that God continue to download so many things that will be for the healing of the nation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you.
Thanks, my dear sister. God bless you richly, Maneshu, and thank you for your selfless heart. I must be honest, really appreciate. And I know people are empowered and will continue really and administer the prescriptions.
once a week, Murut. Go tell
Yes.
your pastors everywhere in all these platforms. People,
Yes.
I say this boldly on social media, and I say nobody has to die of COVID. And
Yes.
if anybody dies of COVID, knowing me, you are
Mm.
responsible for their death.
It's very true.
Yes,
That's why
on your head, because
there are
nobody, no one,
no one, you know,
young and
that's
old, yes.
young and old. That's why I brought you, Ceci, because you know these claims are very genuine. They are very much alive. We have tested it. They are testimonies. Thank you so very much, Ceci, and a blessed evening.